A very good morning to one and all. Respected dignitaries, honored guests, esteemed faculty members, research scholars, students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Karnataka State Open University, Mysuru, in association with the Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi, it is indeed a great honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to this august gathering at the inaugural ceremony of the two-day international conference on the theme, The Relevance of Open Distance Learning in the Contemporary Global Scenario and Its Future Perspectives. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most beautiful weapon which you can use to change the world. This conference stands as a testimony to that belief, bringing together brilliant minds to deliberate on the transformative role of open and distance learning in shaping a brighter, inclusive future for higher education. To invoke the divine blessings, may I now request students of Fine Arts College, University of Mysuru, to render the invocation prayer followed by Nadagite.
जय भारत जननीय तनुजाते जय हे कर्नाटक माते जय सुंदर नदिवनಗಳ ನಾಡಿ जय हे रस ಋಷಿಗಳ ಬೀಡೆ ಭೂದೇವಿಯ ಮಕುಟದ ನವಮಣಿಯೇ ಗಂಧದ ಚಂದದ ಹೊನ್ನಿನ ಗಣಿಯೇ ರಾಘವ ಮಧುಸೂದನರವತರಿಸಿದ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜನನಿಯ ಜೋಗುಳ ವೇದದ ಘೋಷ ಜನನಿಗೆ ಜೀವವು ನಿನ್ನಾವೇಶ ಹಸುರಿನ ಗಿರಿಗಳ ಸಾಲೆ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೊರಳಿನ ಮಾಲೆ ಕಪಿಲ ಪತಂಜಲ ಗೌತಮ ಜಿನನುತ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಶಂಕರ ರಮನುಜ ವಿದ್ಯಾರಣ್ಯ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಮಧ್ವರ ದಿವ್ಯಾರಣ್ಯ ರನ್ನ ಷಡಕ್ಷರಿ ಪುನ್ನ ಪಂಪಲ ಕುಮಿಪತಿ ಜನ್ನ ಕುಮಾರ ವ್ಯಾಸರ ಮಂಗಳಧಾಮ ಕವಿ ಕೋಗಿಲೆಗಳ ಪುಣ್ಯರಾಮ ನಾನಕ ರಮಾನಂದ ಕಬೀರರ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ತೈಲಪ ಹೊಯ್ಸಳರಾಳಿದ ನಾಡೆ ಡಂಕಣ ಜಗಳರ ನೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬೀಡೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶರಾವತಿ ತುಂಗ ಕಾವೇರಿ ಅವರ ರಂಗ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಪರಮಹಂಸ ವಿವೇಕರ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಸರ್ವ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೋಟ ರಸಿಕರ ಕಂಗಳ ಸೆಳೆಯುವ ನೋಟ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ ಪಾರಸಿಕ ಜೈನರುದ್ಯಾನ ಜನಕನ ಹೋಲುವ ದೊರೆಗಳ ಧಾಮ ಗಾಯಕ ವೈಣಿಕರ ರಾಮ ಕನ್ನಡ ನುಡಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡುವ ಗೇಹ ಕನ್ನಡ ತಾಯಿಯ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ದೇಹ ಭಾರತ ಜನನಿಯ ತನುಜಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ ಜಯ ಹೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ.
Thank you, students of Fine Arts College, University of Mysore, for that soulful rendering. May the spirit of knowledge and enlightenment guide the deliberations of this conference. May I now request Dr. Nataraju ji, Organizing Secretary of this two-day international conference, to extend a formal welcome address and to introduce the theme of the conference.
The two-day international conference on the relevance of open distance learning in the contemporary global scenario and its future perspectives. Karnataka State Open University, as a member university of Association of Indian Universities, AIU, New Delhi, has been representing higher education at national and international forums and platforms too. Karnataka State Open University promotes quality education, research, restores, and sustains the cultural and social values through its wide-ranging programs. Association of Indian Universities has successfully traversed a long journey of 100 years from strength to stature, carrying forward the legacy and glory of Indian higher education, providing a landmark in the evolution and future of Indian higher education and setting a benchmark. Karnataka State Open University, being one of the premier institutions in ODL system of the country, strives hard to empower various disadvantaged sections of society. The Today International Conference will focus and reflect on different issues, ideas, strategies, methodologies. It will strive to identify appropriate tools and find out ways towards ensuring quality in the programs under the ODL system. The very presence of delegates from all corners of the country has ensured the prominence of this forum. It is the very appropriate at this moment to pay homage to His Highness Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadiya, a very true visionary of modern India. His exceptional contribution to the field of education in Mysuru, his vision of a contemporary society where shall prevail peace, justice, and equality became a modern state. He ensured the accessibility of education, healthcare, and employment. He wished to make his people self-reliant. That is the motto of the centenary celebrations of AIU. His ideas continue to inspire us today in molding the intellect of our students. This conference will not only showcase our university's commitment to academic progress and excellence, but also allow our institution to play a pivotal role in Association of Indian Universities historical celebrations. It is hoped that the conference will be an important milestone in understanding newly emerging pathways and strategies in the field of open distance learning and online learning. I wish you all profitable deliberations and much joy over the next 2 days. Thank you. Now, it is the important juncture, the welcome address to the guest. I consider it as an honor to welcome on behalf of Karnataka State Open University, the illustrious Professor Dr. Amarendra Pani, Joint Director, Research Division, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi, who is here with us to deliver the inaugural address of the conference. However, our chief guest, Mrs. Sneha PV, IPS, Superintendent of Police, Karnataka Lokayukta Bengaluru South, Ramanagara, is not able to attend the event due to certain unavoidable circumstances. She conveys her best wishes to the delegates and the conference for fruitful proceedings on the occasion. It is a matter of privilege to welcome our today's special guest, Professor K.S. Rangappa, formerly the Vice Chancellor, Karnataka State Open University and University of Mysore and Mysore. I welcome Dr. B. Shadrach, the Director, Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, New Delhi, honors us with his august presence here as a chief guest of honor. I welcome him very warmly. I welcome today's keynote speaker, Professor Sanjay Tiwari, Vice Chancellor, Hemchand Yadav University, Vishwavidyalaya, Raipur, Naga, Patiakala, Durg, Chhattisgarh. The conference would not have found a better intellectual than Professor Tiwari, who was a Fulbright Fellow, Academic Fellow at Cambridge University, a Senior Associate ICTP Italy, Certified Management Innovator Life Member UK. I welcome our Honorable, very amiable, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sharanappa V. Halse, presiding over today's event. I welcome our Registrar, Professor Naveen Kumar, SK, for gracing the occasion. I welcome our Dean Academic, Professor Ramanatha Naidu. Dean Study Center, Dr. Chandragowda NR. Finance Officer, Niranjan Raj, Sir. Register Evaluation, Dr. Anand Kumar, Sir. I welcome the members of the Board of Management, all the statutory officers and special invitees, media representatives, delegates, academicians, students, participants, and all the distinguished August gathering and the entire Ksoutwo fraternity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nattaraju, for your warm words of welcome and for setting the stage for our deliberations. I also take an opportunity to welcome Dr. Nattaraju for this conference. In our tradition, lighting the lamp represents the triumph of knowledge over ignorance and the dawn of new. Generations to come. Thank you, good esteemed dignitaries. To mark this special occasion, I now request our esteemed dignitaries seated on the dais to kindly release the conference order. I take an opportunity to introduce our distinguished inaugural guest, Dr. Amarendra Pani, Joint Director, Research Division, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi. Dr. Amarendra Pani is a higher education policy research expert with more than 25 years of experience. A research methodologist, Dr. Pani has worked in some of the apex-level research and capacity building organizations like NCERT, Association of Indian Universities, and in some of the premier and reputed universities like Punjab University, Chandigarh, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi, Hemavati Nandan Bahuguna, Kharagpur Central University, Uttarakhand, in various academic as well as administrative positions. Over his more than 2 decades, stick with AIU, Dr. Pani has served AIU in various important positions like Head of Meeting Divisions of AIU, which contains the meetings of Vice Chancellor at zonal and national level, Head, AIU, Dr. Pani has more than 10 edited books and a number of research publications to his credit. Dr. Pani has a distinct credit of drafting and designing the national guidelines for Anvesham, national research conventions organized by AIU on annual basis. He has represented Indian universities in the Erasmus Mundus program and the Symposium of Senior Executives organized by European Commission at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in 2018. Presently, Sir is Joint Director and Director in Charge Research Division of AIU. Dr. Pani is charged with the responsibility of giving leadership to Research Division in conducting policy research in higher education, organizing capacity building program for faculty members and educational administrators, and designing student-centric programs. May I now request Dr. Amirendra Pani to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Professor Halsey, Honorable Vice Chancellor of this esteemed institution, Karnataka State Open University, Professor K.S. Rangappa, former esteemed Vice Chancellor of KSOU and former member of AIU Governing Council. It's a very prestigious position. Only the Vice Chancellors, when they become senior, they get this opportunity and privilege to become the AIU Governing Council member. So, Honorable Sir, thank you very much for being here, and we are really honored indeed to have him here. Dr. Shadrach, a very close friend, we have worked together. The CEO, the Director of Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, a very seasoned academician. Professor Sanjay Tiwari, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Durg University. Professor Prithvi Rani from KSOU, and the esteemed registrar of this institution, Professor Ramanathan, Professor Nataraju, esteemed faculty members of this institution, and the delegates, those who have come to attend this conference today, students, faculty members, and organizing team of this magnificent event. At the outset, I welcome you to this inaugural session of such a nice event which holds importance, especially at a time when higher education system across the globe is undergoing massive transformation, massive changes. The changes was so sharp, so rapid, and so transformative that it has presented us some sort of uncertainty before us. We are in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. Today, the engineering student getting enrolled in one of the engineering programs is not sure and certain. After 4 years of passing out, having the engineering degree, whether the knowledge and skills will be relevant or not, or it will change, and the student will need some additional skill. This type of uncertainties are there, and we are passing through. As higher education community, we are passing through and witnessing a tumultuous time in the entire higher education landscape in the entire world. Friends, I have 15 minutes of time. I will speak only to the point, from my mind only, what I think in the context of relevance of open and distance learning, and what we can envision its future perspectives. Before that, before I get into the business for which I stand here, let me acknowledge 2 points. One point point of Dr. Nataraju about AIU. That's your organization. Many of you may not be knowing about the organization. The second point about the relevance of the ODL system. In between, I would like to make a passing reference to Madam Host, who presented a quotation of Nelson Mandela, one of the tallest leader in the world, tallest not in height, but in intellectual height. Height, so far as vision is concerned, so far as leadership is concerned. Most of you might be familiar with the issue of apartheid system in South Africa. Rangbhed, discrimination on the basis of color. The black people, they were being mistreated in South Africa by the white people. Discrimination against birth, color, all these things were there. It was, and it was happening since long. Human rights blatantly being violated. The black people were being exploited, tortured. And it was the visionary leader of the world, Nelson Mandela, who fought against the color discrimination, who was behind the bar, and he spent 25 years of a precious time of his life behind the bar. Finally, he emerged victorious. South Africa got a new president in the form of Nelson Mandela. That is what the visionary leader, he has said about education, that education is the most powerful instrument for changing the society or transforming the society. Friends, Association of Indian Universities was born in March 23, 1925, at least more than 15 years before the independence of our country. Such a necessity was felt during the British Viceroy's conference organized at Simla. The British Viceroy then, he was having some interest in education. Otherwise, he was a political man. He was responsible for companies' affairs and governing India, all those things. He was responsible for the political administration of the country. Somehow, he was having some interest and passion for education. He called the meeting of the, in 25, around 21 universities were there in our country. He called the meeting. After interacting with the vice chancellors, he got to know that something is missing. There is a gap in the academic flavor, interaction, and continuity. And he wrote in his anecdote, in his repository, in his account, he wrote that Indian academia are extremely well, excellent so far as independent working is concerned. You pick up a scientist, pick up a professor, teacher, any intellectual person in India, scholarly person, finds comfort in working alone. Given an opportunity or situation to work in a team or a group, they fail miserably. This was the observation of the then Viceroy. Then what he envisioned, he thought that the strong and robust academic environment of India, the academic air, needs to be filled with some agreeable clamor. And that is possible if we establish an organization that will represent the universities, the tall intellectual leaders. It will be an organization of thought leaders, change makers, and speed makers also. It will liaise between universities, other higher education institutions. It will work on restoring and maintaining university autonomy as an autonomous entity. it will be suggesting the government of India on matters of higher education policy and many more objectives. Let me cut short the story, just giving you the most important points which you must know. In 1925, March 23, 1925, Association of Indian Universities saw the light of the day, and the name was Inter-University Board of India and Shillong. Gradually, it started working, a lot of things happened. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, I am proud indeed to say that Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, the second president of India, was the president of AIU. Dr. Zakir Hussain, Syama Prasad Mukherjee, Sim Mangal Singh Suman, K.L. Shrimali, some of the social thinkers, educational stalwarts, eminent personalities of our country, they have given leadership to this esteemed organization called Association of Indian Universities. Association of Indian Universities was performing all the tasks of our University Grants Commission till 1956. When there was a demand from the Government of India that we will take over total complete control over AIU, the Vice Chancellor opposed, protested. They said, no, we are helping you, supporting you as a think tank body, but we cannot come under the direct administrative control of the government. We will lose our autonomy. Better you establish another organization which will be undertaking these functions like grant giving, devising norms, this and that. We will intervene when there are some policy issues. And that happened. UGC was established with the recommendation of AIU in 1956. And in 1967, AIU received its legal status. It was registered through Society Registration Act. Then in 1975, the name of AIU Inter-University Board was changed and it was renamed, rechristened as the Association of Indian Universities. And later, in 1975 or 76 around, Ministry, by giving grant, established a research division, making it a think tank organization. And this is the organization, we are celebrating our 100 years this year, and a lot of activities we are organizing. Some of them already, Dr. Raju is already informed. And this organization has a distinct feature, and it is distinct in three respects. Number one, such a large network, vast network of universities nowhere in the world exists. AIU has the distinct credit of being the largest network of the universities and university association in the world, having around 1100 universities under its ambit. Second, this is the second oldest university association in the world, next to ACU, Association of Commonwealth Universities, which was established in 1913. Next establishment is in 1925. And third one, no university association in the world, whether it is America, Russia, Netherlands, Australia, Germany, Japan, nobody caters to the need of a whole range of stakeholders, starting from student up to the level of chancellors. Right? Three distinct things. And the last point about AIU is that you might be knowing Kapil Sharma, Chandan Prabhakar, Sugandha Mishra, Ashutosh Rana, Ashish Vidyarthi, Neeraj Chopra, the javelin thrower. All these products, Dipti Chand, Duti Chand, all these are the products, they are from AIU. Their talent has been unfolded, nurtured by the platform given by AIU, whether it is sports platform or youth affairs. Right? So this is the reputation of AIU. Second part, relevance of ODL. Friends, universities are the guardians of the socialistic and humanistic tradition of a nation. They have a big mandate. Their mandate is not confined only to teaching, not confined to only exploration of new knowledge through research. Their mandate is also creating and developing and nurturing the future leaders, those who will be shouldering the future responsibility. Today, Professor Halse sir is the Vice Chancellor. Tomorrow, aap mein se someone from you, when you get into the seniority level, you will give leadership to this organization. You will take our positions. What we are doing, helping government, discharging our responsibility, many of you will be discharging those responsibilities. So it is the bounden duty of the higher education institutions and universities to create future leaders. And in this process, the contribution of open and distance learning institutions is enormous. It's a really big. You imagine the first clarion call on inclusive education and access was given to this country through 1948 Education Commission, 1952 Second Year Mudaliar Commission, 64 Dr. Kothari Commission, and thereafter many more documents. The list is unending. And finally, structured, purposeful, and intensive effort was made by the Government of India to work seriously on proliferation of education, making the education reach to the unreached, right? Through the 11th five-year plan, where 3 E's were emphasized: expansion, equity, and excellence. Expansion includes the access, providing access to education. Our country is a diverse one. The diversity exists with respect to geographical climate, geographical location, climatic conditions, hostile terrains. We have deserts, we have mountain hilly areas like Uttarakhand, Himachal, we have northeast states, so the diversity is very vast. Many places are there where electricity was not there, educational opportunity facilities were not there. Abhi bhi, till now also, it's not there in many of the things. So it's a gigantic task, a Herculean task to reach out to those people with the formal educational opportunities. Here came the role of open and distance education. Started as a practice, as correspondence courses, then open and distance learning. Finally, setting up, I think in our country, I can share you some data. Right now, there must be 17, 18 state open universities and 1 central level, that is National Open University, IGNOU. Can you imagine that in providing access to the deprived, socio-economically disadvantaged group, the people, those who are already working professionals, they do not have time to enter into the conventional mode of education. And they cannot get that kind of flexibility. Open and distance learning has always been, I will not say an alternative, rather a parallel supporting robust system that has massively contributed to increase the enrollment percentage in higher education, making the education reaching at the doorstep of people who were finding difficult to have education, and simplifying the complex process of educational delivery. That's one of the very, very important points. I'm sorry. Friends, Dr. Nataraj had requested for a paper. I have drafted. It's in final stage. It will be published in the proceedings. There, see, we are in the digital era. Being researchers, we know data is our instrument. We interpolate, extrapolate, analyze, synthesize data, and on the basis of some empirical evidence only, we give insight to the intellectual discourse. Since we are in the digital era, everything is digitized. Everywhere we have statistics, figures, numbers. We are sitting, rather in my language, I say we are sitting on mass debris of data. I don't want to load you more with giving data, but I can very succinctly say that it is the ODL, Open and Distance Learning System, that has proved to be a boon for the nation, not only for our nation, world over. You imagine, given an understanding, only Karnataka State Open University has around 50,000 enrollment. I was interacting with someone. 1 lakh. Oh, massive in number. You imagine if Karnataka State Open University has only 1 lakh enrollment, imagine we have mega universities like IGNOU. It must be having more than crores of enrollment. And this has provided a respite, a relief, a larger degree of flexibility to the students, those who have been dropped out, to the housewife, to the armed professionals, to the other professionals, those who are engaged in industry and they don't have time and convenience for going for the conventional mode of education. So all these several issues have been addressed, supported by the ODL system, right? And there are many benefits. You people belong to the stream of open education system. So my second point is that it will be relevant. The question is just exactly like this. When computer came, there was a speculation among the academic fraternity, especially the teachers, that the computer will take our job. Not only teachers, many even administrative people, clerks, that the computer will take our job. That didn't happen. Computer became a tool and it facilitated our work, it catalyzed our work rather than replacing us. Same thing, there is a larger degree of perception issues by the teachers. They are having apprehension and speculation that the artificial intelligence, robots now teaching in the classroom may replace the teachers. Friends, trust me, it's not going to happen as long as you are keeping abreast of the changes, you are familiarizing yourself, orienting yourself and acquiring the skills of working with the artificial intelligence. See, as long as we keep the technology as our slaves and we act as masters, things go fine. Many times, because of personal issues, laziness, or a misperception about technology or misplaced priority, we do not acquire the latest technology, skills of working with the latest technology. If this happens, then we may be replaced by the robots. But the human interaction, postures, gestures, right, that teaching, that aspect can never be replaced by any machine, any tools or any instruments. Therefore, the ODL has been inherently a part of the entire process of education system. Today, it is so deeply ingrained ODL system that nobody can replace it, not anybody can eliminate it. So it was relevant in the past, it holds the relevance today, and I'm sure it will keep continuing having its relevance even years to come. Because addressing the educational need of such a large, massive population and accommodating the societal challenges, the tectonic shift the society is undergoing is not possible, cannot be imagined without the support of ODL or open and distance learning system. Friends, it has a bright future perspective because the concepts like walk-in admission, on-demand examination, I have overshot my time, friends. I would have discussed share many interesting points, but I have to stick to the time. We have a number of speakers. Just let me share one thing, that the way number of ODL institutions has increased in the country, number of enrollment has increased sizably in the country, and the concepts like walk-in admission, on-demand examination, cafeteria approach, the whole gamut of activities is revolving around student flexibility. There was a time when education was conceived to be a bipolar process. It is a business between the teacher and the taught to be transacted. Later, I am just reducing the cut-shorting the story. Later, some educationists said, no, education is not a bipolar process. It has to be considered as a tripolar process. Teacher, student, But the teacher and student transaction has to be based on a curriculum syllabus. That is the third pillar or third pole. So education was defined to be a tripolar process. But with the integration of technology today, your student is a smart student, your classroom is a smart classroom, you have a smart boards, flipped classroom, problem-based learning, scaffold learning, some of the latest and new pedagogy, they are bringing heralding change, massive changes in the pedagogy of higher education. So student flexibility, that has become, education has become a quadrupolar process, and student flexibility, we have a ceremonious departure from a teacher-centric, curriculum-centric education towards student-centric approach. And in the student-centric approach, you remember those days that if you do not comply with the dates published in the prospectus of a university for applying for the admission, then the start of the course, then the examination and the declaration of result, all dates are already published in the prospectus. And if you missed any date, 1 year is gone. To give compensation of that academic loss to the students, students do not suffer, do not find any academic loss. First concept is walk-in admission. While going through, there is Karnataka State Open University, there is a 6 months course, you are interested to do it, go to the admission, registrar admission or admission, whosoever the dignitary, the functionary is in charge of admission, you tell that I am ready to get enrolled in this course. Then and there your admission will be there. After 6 months, usually we used to wait to the university to declare the date of examination, because they have to conduct the examination in a mass manner. But now such volume, such kind of student flexibility is coming that after 6 months, at any time go to your institution, ask them, I am ready, my course tenure is over, I can appear for the examination. There is a question bank virtually existing, they will pull out a question paper, it will be totally distinct and different, and one person examination will be done. This is called as on-demand examination. Everything will be digitally connected. So, bringing student flexibility, addressing to the diverse student population, need of the diverse population, and in many more things, distance education has really assumed a very significantly important role, and its role and relevance is never going to be over or finished. In future also, large number of students, those who do not want to afford and invest their time to the formal system of education, they are looking in a wide eye to join the ODL system. So therefore, it is very relevant today. I congratulate to the organizers, Honorable Vice Chancellor and the coordinator of this program, Dr. Nataraju, for selecting this theme of topical importance and organizing a physical conference in an open system and deliberating on open system, right? It's really magnificent. I would request each one of you to give a big clapping to the organizers. Big clapping. So friends, usually I conclude my speech by citing a Vedic hymn, Vedic shloka. I belong to a large, strong Vedic family. I am reciting a shloka. If it is required to be translated, I will do that. If you are satisfied, I will leave it. Nalini dalagata, this is from Kathopanishad. Nalini dalagata jalam api taralam, tabata janamati atisaya chapalam. Nalini dalagata jalam api taralam, tabata janamati atisaya chapalam, kyanam api sangati sajanne reka, bhavati bhavannave tarane nauka. Do I need to translate? If the voice is not saying yes, then I will leave. Nalini, this lotus leaf. One lotus leaf is floating on a water surface, water body. It may be sea, river, pond, a small water body having little bit collection of water, whatever. But there is a lotus leaf and it's floating, and on the lotus leaf, a small bubble of water is just tilting with the influence of little bit of air movement. Okay? So life of that bubble of water is so volatile, so fragile, it can be dropped into the water with a little push of air, and the life of that bubble finishes there. That is over there. Exactly like that, human mind, human body, human thinking, everything is chala chanchal and chala chapal, fragile, volatile. Under such a circumstance, if we get company of some guni, gyani, vidwan, scholars, that helps us माया रूपक नहीं ज्ञान रूपक समुद्र को पार करने के लिए, to cross the ocean of knowledge, it helps like a boat. With these small words, मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देना चाहूँगा. नमस्कार, जय हिंद, and बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद for giving me a patient hearing.
Leadership is not about titles, it is about impact, influence, and inspiration. Thank you, Dr. Pani sir, for your valuable words of vision and wisdom for the future of open and distance learning. And also, you focus that the contribution of open and distance learning is enormous in achieving the fourth goal of sustainable development, that is to provide the quality education to all. May I now request Dr. Madhura A.S. to introduce our distinguished guest of honor, Dr. B. Shadrach, Director, Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, New Delhi.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so privileged and feel elated to introduce you all, our chief guest and our guest of honor, Professor B. Shadrach. Professor B. Shadrach is currently serving the Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, shortly SEMCA, as its director. SEMCA is the regional center of Commonwealth of Learning, Canada, and is an intergovernmental organization with the status of United Nations agencies recognized by the Indian government that hosts the center in New Delhi. In this position, he oversees programs that enhance quality learning and access to education and skill development in Asia. He also serves on the Global Steering Committee of the Global Partnership of Artificial Intelligence. He is also an international alumni ambassador for his alma mater, Loughborough University, UK. In his career since 1986, he has managed ICT 4D and lifelong learning programs in over 40 nations around the world. He held senior management positions at the British Council India, Transparency International Germany, One World International UK, and the Telecenter Organization Foundation Philippines, and he was an Ottawa appointed. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Since Professor is asking me to condense it, I'll just conclude it, sir, with few lines. While managing the Building Communication Opportunity BCO Alliance in Asia in 2004, Dr. Shadrach launched Ek Dunya Anek Awaz, a unique community radio initiative and a multi-stakeholder alliance of over 600 organizations that advocated for achieving the MDGs in South Asia in partnership with multilateral donor organization. As the global head of Telecenter Organization Academy in 2009, he developed a unique training ecosystem for equipping grassroots level knowledge workers. During his 37-year-long professional life, Dr. Shadrach has also consulted for UNESCO Germany, FCDO UK, ITU Geneva, ADB the Philippines, UNDP Iraq, Practical Action UK, the Open University UK, Article 19 UK, and the ICT Agency of Sri Lanka. So, without further delay, please join me in welcoming Professor B. Shadrach as our chief guest today. Thank you, everyone.
Importance of today is this conference organized by the Karnataka State Open University. Congratulations, Professor Halse, for organizing this with the able support and leadership provided by Dr. Nagarajan. Dr. Amarendra Pani, the Joint Director at the AAU. Professor Sanjay Tiwari, the Vice Chancellor. From the university's name, I am yet to grasp from Chhattisgarh, Professor K.S. Rangappa from the Karnataka, the former Vice Chancellor of Karnataka State Open University and also former Vice Chancellor of University of Mysore, and all our colleagues and distinguished personalities gathered here. First of all, my congratulations to the Karnataka State Open University for achieving the #1 status amongst the state open universities in NARF ranking. Although they stood #2 in NARF ranking, but literally I feel that they are #1 because oftentimes it's difficult competing with a national university such as IGNOU. So amongst the 17 state open universities, Karnataka stood first under the able leadership of Professor Halse and all the faculty members here. So you should be really proud of what you have achieved. Secondly, I would also like to, although it's some time now, the achievement of the NAC score of 3+ is anything really big, and in your case it's A+, which has really opened up doors for you to start numerous online programs. And I can see that the Karnataka State Open University is really multidisciplinary with this opening of at least 10 programs in the online mode. I think you've become really global and your reach is enormous. And no doubt that you have already an enrollment of 1 lakh students, which is actually a huge number as compared to the 40 lakh students in the open and distance education mode. In the country, we have about 40 million students in the tertiary education system. In other words, it's about 4 crore, of which 40 lakh plus come from the ODL system. And interestingly, 1 lakh such learners are from Karnataka itself. Although the number as compared to 4 crore might sound to be a bit small, for the fact that 66 colleges exist in Karnataka for 1 lakh students. For every 1 lakh students, there are 66 colleges in Karnataka. So the higher education, tertiary education institutions density in Karnataka is the highest in the country. And there was a reference to Maharaja Udayar. I think Maharaja Udayar has done a tremendous service, similar to many other Maharajas, Sarboji and the Tanjavur Maharaja, the Maharaja of Baroda and others, who liberated education for the masses. Soon after, William Carey and Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who fought for the library and literacy movement and the education movement to be put in the hands of the common people. The first people who responded were the Maharajas, and no doubt this Maharaja of Udayar has tremendously contributed to the education system in the country. Now there was also this reference to Nelson Mandela since this morning. And if you go to Cape Town, go to the Robben Islands, where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for so many decades, you would find a huge photograph as you enter the Robben Islands, just to go and visit this prison. There will be a tall prisoner coupled with a short prisoner. This was the strategy of the oppressors to ensure that a tall person was coupled with a short person so that they never coordinate action. So when it comes to the ODL programs, it's something like this. You have the tall personalities all around, but you also have these short personalities, or the ones who are missed out in the mainstream, or the second chance education seekers, or even the first generation education seekers. A lot of them throng to the open and distance learning system. So the responsibility, many of you as the faculty members of KSOU and the regional centers and the learner support centers and others, your responsibility is to bring that short person to the tallest position so that they could also coordinate action, something that the oppressors never wanted to happen. Now you are doing a stellar service in terms of really creating opportunities for a large number of students. And today it's just a lakh, although 1 lakh is a huge number. It equals 66 colleges in your state. But in the very near future, you are likely to encounter a variety of possibilities, particularly with the online systems that are emerging. The idea of open and distance learning is evolving to online and digital learning, and with NAC A+ rating and the possibilities that KSOU has, you can go really, really big in terms of embracing and putting out a number of courses, particularly that are aligned to the employability and skills orientation. Today's learner, as was mentioned by Dr. Pani just now, is a very smart learner, a learner who has a lot of opportunities to access learning material. And here is where we seem to have an opportunity to make the difference. The difference is largely in terms of bringing in courses and programs that are aligned to the best next thing that the person would want to do. And today, the best next thing every young person in our country would like to do is to be an entrepreneur or a owner of a self-business or an employment seeker. And in a state like Karnataka, where their possibilities are high, you have an immense potential and opportunity to put out numerous short-term courses and so on. Now, with the help of the Commonwealth of Education Learning, the Regional Center Commonwealth Education Media Center for Asia, KSOU is likely to become one of the awarding bodies of NCVET, which means you are creating programs under the UGC guidelines, but also allowed by UGC, you would also be able to create courses and programs and short-term training programs for the large number of individuals who would like to benefit. And KSOU could be a champion in a variety of areas. Just last week, the Kerala Skill Development Corporation and the Minister released the Kerala Skill Development Policy and their outlook for year 2032, in which they notably highlight a variety of areas where it could be really, really relevant. And the relevance of KSOU is very well underscored. So the students today choose open learning systems not because they don't have other options. Once upon a time, the ODL system used to attract the second chance or the first generation learners or the second chance learners. But today the ODL system is primarily sought after by the first class learners. For reskilling, upskilling and skilling, people are looking at open systems where they have no other opportunities. A lot of names were mentioned by Dr. Pani, and I am sure University of Mysore and Karnataka State Open University could also mention a lot of alumni. Jahavil Srinath, N.R. Narayana Murthy, to Akhilesh Yadav, to R.K. Lakshman. A variety of people have passed out of your system. And I know that KSOU also collects a nominal fee, alumni fee. And it's very important for us to strengthen the alumni network and demonstrate what the alumni could do, because in the skilling ecosystem, it's not just the professors, it's the allied alumni and those well-wishers, those who are partners of the open systems are going to add value. And as faculty members, not only we should be proud that we are catering to a large number of students, you are also catering to a large number of the workforce, the future workforce, which should be, interestingly, every 6th person working individual in the world is going to be an Indian, and a large number of them could emerge from the Karnataka State Open Universities. Finally, I would like to close by stating my own personal experience. When I was a young boy, a student in a school, the only university that I became familiar with was the University of Mysore, ICC-CE, which is the correspondence course continuing education section. And you may wonder, somebody who grew up in a place called Salem in Tamil Nadu, how did I first hear about not University of Madras, but University of Mysore, largely because of the predecessor of KSOU, which promoted continuing education. After the Kothari Commission report, a large number of open systems came into play, and my own parents, both my father and mother, they were the graduates of University of Mysore correspondence course in the early 70s. And they were teachers, they were running a school, but they took up this opportunity that University of Mysore offered in terms of elevating the pitch. They wanted to be relevant, they wanted to enhance their academic esteem, their social esteem. They also wanted to get promoted to a senior position, claiming the TGT kind of a salary and PGT salary. So there came University of Mysore to their rescue. And as a young boy, I used to see them actually study, go through the material, and also attend the contact programs. So you have a large number of alumni, you have a large number of industries, you have a large number of partners in the system. You also have the NCVET's approval very shortly. So with this conference, I think you can make a new beginning. Now, 1964, Kothari Commission opened up ODL. Now, perhaps the 2010 policy and the state versions of these policies, which are embarked upon by certain states, and the state skill development policy, all this allow you to think for the future in terms of the evolving ODL, which is open learning, online digital learning systems. So I once again congratulate Dr. Nadaraja for putting up such a strong show and for recommencing the tradition of organizing international conferences after 12 full years. Congratulations, Kate.
Technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. And thank you, sir, for emphasizing the critical role of technology and media in shaping the future of education in general and open and distance education at particular. Now I take an opportunity to introduce our esteemed special guest, Professor K.S. Rangappa, former Vice Chancellor, Karnataka State Open University and University of Mysore. Professor K.S. Rangappa was born in Kanchkarkotlu, Mysore district in Karnataka on 26th May 1955. Sir, I request you, because it's a great pleasure for us to introduce. And sir was Vice Chancellor here in Karnataka State Open University, as well as the Vice Chancellor in the University of Mysore. And he has taken both the university to great height by his technological and innovative mindset. Thank you, sir. It's my indeed pleasure to welcome you here, sir.
Elrigu namaskara. Good morning, everyone. Esteemed the guest of honor, or the chief guest of today's function, Dr. Amrendra Pani, Professor Sharda Pahalse, Dr. Shargar, Professor Sanjay Tiwari, Professor Naveen Kumar, the Registrar of the University, Ramanand Naidu, Niranjan Raj, Chandreguda, Nataraju, the organizer of this important meeting, dignitaries of the dais, participants of this two-day international conference, ladies and gentlemen, media friends. It's indeed an honor for me to be here to this my alma mater and participate in this 2 days international conference on the relevance of open distance learning in the contemporary global scenario and its future perspectives, organized by the Karnataka State Open University in association with the Association of Indian Universities. Thank you, Dr. Pani, for giving an opportunity to conduct this kind of 2 days international meeting at my campus, the Karnataka State Open University in Karnataka. Dr. Pani and Dr. Shardak spoke to us, but I belong to both conventional and non-conventional system. I was here, I was there, both conventional and non-conventional. But however, today I prefer to choose ODL, the open distance learning, which is a powerful force in reshaping education across the world. In today's interconnected society, where knowledge is the key driver of progress, of course, open distance learning is no longer an alternative, but a mainstream and essential mode of learning. If you talk about any conventional universities across the country, inside the country, everyone will have the option to have the open distance learning. It has effectively overcome geographical, economic, and social barriers, transforming education into a global endeavor. Which means it allows diverse students to access previously unreachable opportunities. By promoting flexible courses, it enables individuals to pursue vital knowledge and skills for the personal and professional growth in an interconnected world. Which means the strength of the open distance learning lies in its accessibility. It extends opportunities to those who might otherwise be left behind: rural populations, working professionals, women at home, differently able others, and socio-economically disadvantaged groups. By offering equal access, the open distance learning has become a strong instrument of empowerment, social equity, and of course, inclusive development. That is the reason why I said it's a mainstream. It's not an alternative. Open distance is not an alternative. Technological advancements have further revolutionized open distance learning. The integration of online programs, you have MOOCs, you have mobile learning, and today the artificial intelligence driven learning tools. Everyone is after AI, artificial intelligence. Therefore, and even virtual classrooms has transformed the way knowledge is created, knowledge is shared, knowledge is consumed. These innovations have not only increased the flexibility, but also made learning more interactive, engaging, and personalized. Therefore, it's an important tool. The open distance learning is a mainstream of education at present in the country, in the whole country. Not only in India, everywhere. At the same time, the open distance learning demonstrated unmatched cost effectiveness. If you compare with the conventional universities or the conventional courses with the cost effectiveness. By reducing dependency on physical infrastructure, it has made education affordable and sustainable, while allowing learners to balance education with professional and personal commitments. This promotes lifelong learning, which is indispensable in today's fast changing the world. However, we must also acknowledge the challenges, issues such as the digital divide, lack of interest access in remote areas, limited recognition of ODL qualifications in certain regions, and the need for robust quality assurance systems continue to be hurdles. Furthermore, maintaining the learner motivation and providing the adequate practical training for hands-on discipline requires very careful attention. Despite these challenges, the outcome of the open and distance learning are highly encouraging. It has increased gross enrollment ratio, fostering global competencies, improved employability, and even contributed to entrepreneurship. Most importantly, it has created opportunities for those who were once deprived of education, thereby fostering social mobility and economic improvement. In future, the open distance learning, I tell you, continue to expand through blended learning models with combined in best of the both online and also as well as the traditional learning, traditional systems that you have. The use of artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, and virtual augmented reality will create immersive learning experiences. Then I am sure the ODL become the essential part of the education. International collaborations and credit transfer systems will definitely strengthen the global recognition, while micro credentialing and skill-based certifications will align education more closely with industry needs. Most significantly, the open distance learning will continue to play a central role in mobilizing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of ensuring inclusive and equality education for all. This is very important as per my knowledge is concerned. By considering both conventional as well as the non-conventional system, this is the situation today. It ensures the education that not a privilege of the few, but a right of all. In a world striving for equity, innovation, and sustainability, of course, the open distance learning is a powerful tool to empower individuals, strengthen the research communities, and contribute to global progress. It has its own value. The open distance learning has every alternative university in the whole world has this kind of open distance learning. I see open distance learning is not only a mode of education, but also it is a moment of it is, but also it is a moment that democratizes the knowledge, empowers individuals, builds nations, and is a bridge between the knowledge and the society. As educators, policymakers, and stakeholders, it's our responsibility to strengthen the system, address its challenges, and harness its immense potential to create the more equitable and knowledge-driven world. Then I'm confident in future, every individual has to have this kind of education system. Nowadays I see, I have visited several distance learning universities across the world. China has more than 20 open distance learning universities. Korea, Japan, even including United States has now alternatively every conventional universities has this open distance learning system just to have the gross enrollment ratio and to make everyone is educated in this society. It's very difficult to get everyone educated through the conventional mode, the conventional university. Therefore, every alternative university in the system must have this kind of system. Then I am confident in future ODL is a part of the education, which is everyone has to accept. Whether you like it or not, that I am sure you have to have this open distance learning along with online education system. Then only you can reach the gross enrollment ratio, as well as everyone in this country, particularly country like India, if one has to be educated, means they have to have a non-conventional courses of this kind. With these few words, probably I take the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Nataraj for having, gathered many participants of different areas and different disciplines in one platform, and give them the training and give them the non-conventional courses, what kind of non-conventional courses to be taught in future. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
For your inspirational words and scholarly address, which has enriched this conference with profound wisdom and guidance. And also for your insightful address that has truly set the tone and direction for this conference. May I now request Dr. Vinuta Kunderi to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Sanjay Tiwari, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Hemchand Yadav Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, Chhattisgarh.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to introduce Professor Sanjay Tiwari, our keynote address speaker. Professor Sanjay Tiwari is a renowned academician, researcher, and higher education leader with over 35 years of distinguished experience in teaching, research, and institutional governance. He is presently the Vice Chancellor of Hemchand Yadav Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, Chhattisgarh, and has earlier served as the Vice Chancellor of Madhya Pradesh Boj Open University, Bhopal. He is on deputation from Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, Raipur, where he was professor and head School of Studies in Electronics and Photonics. Internationally, Professor Tiwari has held prestigious positions such as Fulbright Senior Research Fellow, USA, Visiting Associate Professor at the University of California, Santa Cruz, Distinguished Scientist at IBM Almaden Research Center, San Jose, Academic Fellow under UKIERI at the University of Cambridge, UK, and Senior Associate at ICTP, Italy. He has delivered invited lectures at world-class institutions including Imperial College, London, St. John's College, Cambridge, and the University of California. His contributions have been recognized with the several prestigious honors: Best Fulbright Alumni Award, UGC Research Award twice, UK India Education and Research Initiative Award, SAR Fellowship, and the Best Young Scientist Award from the Madhya Pradesh Council of Science and Technology. As an academic innovator, Professor Tiwari has introduced forward-looking programs such as the BIVOC, in renewable energy technology and management, and MTech in optoelectronics and laser technology. I thank Professor Sanjay Tiwari, sir, for joining us today. Over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Halse of this premier best state open university of the country, Karnataka State Open University, and I also congratulate Professor Halse for getting the second rank in the NIRF ranking in the country under his able leadership. Dr. Amrit Pani, it's a big achievement, outstanding achievement of this university. And I was telling my wife yesterday, it's a beautiful campus. This hall is magnificent grand hall. And this campus is green, vibrant, and inspiring. I have visited so many open universities, but I like this campus the best. It's a beautiful campus here. Dr. Amrit Pani, Joint Director, AIU, Dr. Shadrach, the Director of SEMCA, who is passionately promoting the open and distance learning through his different workshops, different activities, and I salute him for uniting the open and distance learning platform. All the universities, he has put all the universities in a single platform. Professor K.S. Rangappa, esteemed former Vice Chancellor, and Professor Halse said he is the main architect of this university. And I was looking at his visiting card. He is fellow of all the prestigious science academies of the country. Distinguished colleagues from academia, the participants for this two-day international conference, Professor Natarajan, the organizing secretary, the registrar, Professor Ramanathan, the dean of this academics of this university, the registrar, and other teaching and non-teaching staff, and the dear students. Some students are also present here. So basically, it's indeed an honor and privilege for me to share my thoughts with this august gathering in this grand hall on the theme of both national importance and global relevance. And I congratulate Professor Halse and Professor Natarajan for organizing such a wonderful theme for this conference, which is important, which has a global relevance and profound importance. So I am going to share my views on the interface between industry and academia in open and distance learning and online programs. Dr. Shadrach was telling about, and even Professor Halse was talking about the Maharaja of Mysore, Krishna Gopala Badiyar, and I was remembering once I read at the website of the Indian Institute of Science, the Indian Institute of Science was established by Jamshedji Tata with the land was donated by the Mysore of Maharaja of Mysore, Professor Dr. Mysore, Krishna Gopala Badiyar, and he donated 371 acres of land, and it was the proposal was given by Jamshedji Tata and Swami Vivekanand. So the premier institution of the country, Indian Institute of Science, was also established with the generous donation by Maharaja of Mysore, Krishna Gopal Badiyar ji. So I have prepared a presentation for this talk, and I will share it with the participants of this conference. So as we know, we are living in the fourth industrial revolution, and artificial intelligence, because previous speakers have already set the tone for this conference, blockchain technology, data science, robotics, and quantum computing, they are redefining our economy, our industries, and our society. And they are reshaping how industry function and how societies can evolve. And and every new technology have brought about a tremendous change in the education sector, which it has done on the industrial front. So with the advent of generative AI tools, ChatGPT, Mid-Journey Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, DeepSeek, because most of us are using, and Gemini, we are now entering into the education era. Somebody told here that technology will not replace teachers, but I think that technology will replace teachers who are not using the technology. So basically, today the learning is not confined to four walls, but it is dynamic, personalized, and technology driven. And each of these technologies are evolving in parallel and holds the promise of bringing a transformative change in our lives. And as the American inventor, and futurist Ray Kurzweil observed that we will not experience a progress of 100 years in the 21st century, but we are going to have experience of 20,000 years of progress in the 21st century. And every university and industry, whether company or enterprise, one thing is certain, that it will either have to be a disruptor or be disrupted, or both. So adjusting to change is change must be everyone's mantra. It's important for us to embrace these technologies and use them as a tool to supercharge our creativity and productivity. Today, the learners demand anywhere, anytime, on-demand education, and ODL and OL have already broken the barriers, as the earlier speakers also said on this in the terms of space, time, and access, and creating a flexible, inclusive, and techno-enabled pathways, especially for women, working professionals, and learners from rural and remote areas. And with rising enrollment, our ODL and open learning systems, they are central to achieving the gross enrollment ratio target of 50% by the year 2035 envisioned in the National Education Policy, and with significant presence of female students who were deprived of higher education due to geographical, social, or economic reasons. So, but access is not enough. The true challenge is to make the learners employable, innovative, and future ready. Now the question comes ki what this industry-academia interface matters. So the collaboration between academia and industry has always been crucial. But in this age of ODL and OL, it becomes a transformative partnership. We know that our country has done well in terms of education and knowledge generation, but we are still lagging behind in terms of innovation. And we know that the innovation comes when unlike minds come together. Bringing unlike minds together in terms of discipline, where multidisciplinary schools and centers are there, as per our NEP also, the cultures, the international programs, and most important, the attitude. The attitude means the academy-industry collaboration, and it is the need of the hour. We know that the academia and industry, they have different mindset. They live in their own worlds, and they have totally different goals. That's why there is a big gap between the industry and the academia. And we always see a gap in the industry academia, a gap in the market. Now the time has come, we have to see the market in this gap. So industry have generally short-term goals, cost-focused, low-risk goals, whereas academia, they believe in long-term, prestige-focused, and research-driven goals. So academia and industry have to come together. And for the students, the academia-industry interface, it means exposure to the real-world problems, as it has done in the Merrill movement of US. Virtual or hybrid internship and industry-endorsed micro-credentials. And for the academia, it brings curriculum relevance, collaborative research, and faculty enrichment. For industry, basically this academia-industry interface, it ensures a continuous pipeline of skilled talent and opportunities for research and development. The situation of our country is not very good, though we are number 3 in terms of startups, because we have more than 1.5 lakhs startup in our country, but the situation is not very encouraging, because India ranks 66th among the 130 countries globally in academia industry internship in partnership, with academia often relegated as talent supplier rather than a source of disruptive ideas or technologies. And without such robust academic industry consortia, innovation stagnates, hindering the emergence of groundbreaking products akin to Tesla in the automobile sector, as well as ChatGPT, which we all are using. It is also come from US, and it is basically for the IT industry. Therefore, interface in academia industry interface is not just about the placement of the students. It is about the mutual growth, continuous innovation, and nation building. The major problem comes, we always talk about the skill mismatch. There is a skill gap between what our students learn and what the industry demands. So basically we see that our students are not equipped with the technical and soft skills which are required by the industry. So a modern curriculum for ODL and OL must be made, with the help of industry, which should be holistic and multidisciplinary, integrating sciences, arts, humanities, and vocational skills. It must be industry aligned with a person from industry who is visiting regularly to our Board of Studies, and embedding certifications, internships, and emerging technologies. And finally, the outcome driven, because we know that the today employment demands adaptability, digital literacy, critical thinking, and creativity and problem solving attitude from the employees which it wants to recruit. And so that's the re-skilling and upskilling of faculty in the emerging fields such as big data, artificial intelligence, and immersive learning. It is also important to enhance the effective academia-industry partnership. So basically today, the Academic Bank of Credit and the National Credit Framework, it allows industry certification to be seamlessly integrated into formal degrees and giving learners a flexibility and lifelong learning pathways. SEMCA is doing well. I have also attended some programs of SEMCA, and they have come up with a global knowledge exchange initiative which empowers AI TVET program, and they are doing programs on OER training and skill development. There are so many programs for ODL and OL by Government of India and private partners, even Coursera, EDX, Udemy. They have also come up with some internship programs or some online programs for the technical training or some other trainings. So basically the major ODL industry training and education initiatives, National Education Alliance for Technology, NEET, has been formed, and it along with the AICT, they have started AI-driven personalized learning tools for employability enhancement. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, they have come up with Skill India Mission. They are running the NSGC, and as Dr. Shadrach said, National Council of Vocational Education Training, which this university is going to get approval, and along with the Sector Skill Council for Vocational Training for Employment-Oriented Skill Growth. NPTEL, with Wipro, they have come up with industry-integrated courses. SWAYAM and Infosys, they have joined together for online courses with industry relevance. SEMCA is said, they are working on skill development, OER training, education technology, and institutional capacity. And they have also running several programs for the institutional capacity building. Microsoft Azure and TCS iron, we all know that, they have come up with cloud-powered AI transforming education initiative. It's very good for ODL and OL programs. Atal Innovation Mission, then DBT, along with this International Cyber Physical System, they promote the research collaboration for industry internship and also promoting the startups. Niti Aayog and AICT, it's a very popular program. They are also running online internship programs. National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme has come. eVidya, Diksha, IBM Skill Build, Google Startup, and BFSI scheme has come for the banking and financial services internship and apprenticeship training for the students of the university, whether from regular or ODL and OL. So the next disruption is from micro-credentials, and basically we know that the micro-credentials are short, skill-focused, portable and stackable modules, and now they are recognized by the employers and aligned with the National Credit Framework, and they are becoming a new normal in higher education. The micro-credential along with the digital badges, they are very popular, and because they are excellent tool to validate industry-linked learning and recognition of the skills. Employers are, you know that they value skills nowadays over degrees, and future is all about the becoming a specialist in certain area. As said by Dr. Pani also, while the jobs that require general skills will be first, which will be taken by AI and ML, but those require special skills, they will have a long-term future, and this message should be conveyed to the students. By embedding this micro-credential and fostering self-learning habits, ODL can assure learners stay competitive and future-ready. We know that now that we are using technology as a bridge, technology is not just an enabler, but it's a game changer. It is also a double-edged sword, a useful servant, but a dangerous master. So many programs of AI-based, AI-powered tutors has come for personalized learning, augmented reality, virtual reality simulations and virtual labs done by IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. They can make education exponential. Cloud platforms enable global collaborations in real time. And as we know that the shelf line of knowledge is shrinking, becoming short, both students and faculty must continuously upgrade skills, upskill and reskill. And the ODL OL ecosystem enhanced by technologies becoming digital, dynamic and industry integrated. This is required. So as Professor Rangappa said, the Sustainable Development Goals, they basically focus on the inclusive and equitable quality education which promotes the ODL and OL. And similarly, along with SDG 4, NEP 2020 has made ODL and OL mainstream because they are emphasizing on lifelong and flexible learning, employability and reskilling, hybrid and blended education using ICT and AI. And it also highlights the need for industry investment in R&D partnership with the academia, creating a sustainable and collaboration innovation models. Until this it is mandated for the industry to invest a small part of their resources for the R&D in university, our academia industry flight will never take off. So there are some effective models of collaboration, which includes co-created curricula with industry and academia jointly prepare a curriculum. For example, we can have AI with Microsoft, we can have data science with Infosys, and agri-tech programs with IARI, Indian Agricultural Research Institute of ICAR. And we have virtual internship and live projects for problem solving, and these projects should be mentored by the industry expert. We can have digital centers of excellence with simulation labs, and most of the IITs are working on that, on the simulation labs. We can also have that. Industry validated micro-credentials targeting skill gaps, and mentoring and guest lectures by industry experts. And we can employ the industry expert as professor of practice under the UGC scheme. So together these create a living ecosystem where academia fuels knowledge and industry fuels resources and application. But there are several challenges which we have to convert these challenges into opportunities. The perception of ODL as a second tier, we will discuss in the morning also. It must be countered with the alumni success stories. They have already named some of them. Rapid industry change versus slow academic cycles. Because they believe in profit, and because the academia is getting funding from the government, but the industry, either they get fund from internal funding process or through venture capital. So they are in hurry. So there should be, because rapid industry change versus slow academic cycles, it must be mitigated using modular rolling curricula. Digital divide is another problem in our country. It should be mitigated using the public-private partnership, which ensure affordable infrastructure. And one more issue with the industry is the IP. IP dispute is there, cultural gap along with IP dispute. So clear MUs and regular communication and trust frameworks are essential. So as India aspires to be a developed nation, ODL and OL, strengthened by industry-academia collaboration, can democratize access to world-class education. It can empower graduates to become a job creator, innovator, and entrepreneur, build a workforce that is globally competent and locally relevant, and contribute to the self-reliant India and India's innovation-driven growth story. Together, academia and industry must co-create knowledge, co-develop skills, and co-deliver solutions to the societal problems and challenges. So, respected dignitaries, the future of higher education lies in the synergy and a strong interface between industry and academia in ODL and OL is the foundation for a sustainable, innovative, and inclusive knowledge society. And let us pledge to work together where academia provides knowledge, industry drives application along with their resources and funding, and together we co-create a powerful engine of growth for the nation's journey towards developed nation. Thank you very much.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮುಕ್ತ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಮೈಸೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ವತಿಯಿಂದ 2 days inaugural function, the relevance of the open university learning in the competency of the global scenario and its future perspective. Inaugurator of this program, Dr. Amarendra Paniji, Joint Director, Research Division, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi. Special guest, Professor K.S. Rangappaji, former Vice Chancellor of Karnataka State Open University and the University of Mysore. Guest of honor, Dr. B. Sadrakji, Director, Commonwealth Education, Media Center for Asia, New Delhi. Keynote speaker, Professor Sanjay Tiwari ji, Durg University Vice Chancellor, and my dear colleagues, Registrar of this University, Professor Naveen Kumar, Ramanatham Naidu, Dean Academic, and Dean Study Center, Chandregowda ji, and Professor Niranjan Raj, Finance Officer, and organizing of this committee, on this program, Dr. Natraju, and my dear friends, statutory officers, special invitees, member of board and management, my teacher fraternities, non-teaching and invitees. As you know, this today program inaugurated by Dr. Amarendra Pani, he told regarding the what is the open distance learning and how that is AIU started and what the function is doing AIU. And about the Rangappa sir, already we heard so many points regarding the ODL and OL programs. And Sadrax sir, he is a very, very pioneer for assembling our open distance learning people. Here he is doing wonderful work for employability opportunity for the open distance students. And actually he organized so many programs in Tamil Nadu as well as Madhya Pradesh and the Ahmedabad. He is a main important person for all open university people. And Sanjay Tiwari ji already spoke, and Madam Sanjay Tiwari ji also, she is present. And actually here, what is the perspective? Already we know very well about that. And our university, we are doing wonderful work, all with the help of my teaching fraternity and non-teaching fraternity. We got already, NRF ranking second. Already Shadrach told about that. It is a first in the nation in the state university level. And in the similar manner, we are trying our level best to do all the activities, whatever what the UGC insisting us, that is the teaching, learning and research and extension activities. We are doing wonderful work in the research also, and we got the H index more than the earlier. And the citation also we are having more now at present. And already we know that our research, our teachers, they are doing research work more. And I try to tell my all guests, our university, we are trying our level best to actually inculcate whatever the actually parameters are there, whatever the actually do the higher educations institutions we are doing, sir. And these 2 days, all the actually participants, they have to take initiative to involve in the activities and to get the idea about the open distance learning and how it is a future perspective, the open distance learning. I thank all the invitees, all my guests who have came from far away from the Delhi and again Chhattisgarh. I thank all the invitees for coming here and giving the good ideas to us and encouraging us. And I also congratulate Natraj for organizing this program. And thank you and all for all the best. Thank you.
Respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, colleagues, and dear participants. It's my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion, the inaugural ceremony of the 2-day international conference on the relevance of open distance learning in the contemporary global scenario and its future perspectives. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for the presence of Dr. Amarendra Pani, Joint Director of the Research Division, Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi, for delivering a thought-provoking inaugural address that set the perfect tone for this international conference. Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Srimati P.V. Sneha, Superintendent of Police, Karnataka Lokayukta, Bangalore, in her absentia. I extend our sincere appreciation to Dr. B. Sharath, Director of Commonwealth Educational Media, Center for Asia, New Delhi, for being our chief guest of honor and sharing his valuable insights. Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our special guest, Professor K.S. Rangappa, former Vice Chancellor of KSOU and of University of Mysore, for his valuable presence and for sharing his thoughts that have enriched this inaugural session. Thank you, sir. A very special thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor Sanjay Tiwari, Vice Chancellor of Hemchand Yadav Vishwavidyalaya, Chhattisgarh, for his scholarly and insightful address which highlighted the evolving role of open distance learning in today's world. Thank you, sir. Our heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor of KSOU, Professor Sharanappa V. Halse, sir, for presiding over this inaugural session and for his constant encouragement and leadership in organizing this international event. Thank you, sir. Our sincere gratitude to our Honorable Registrar, Professor S.K. Naveen Kumar Sir, for his guidance and support in organizing this conference. Thank you, sir. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the support and contributions of all our statutory officers. I thank Professor M. Ramanatham Naidu, Dean Academic, for his presence. Thank you, sir. I also thank Professor S. Niranjan Raj, Finance Officer of KSOU. Thank you, sir. I also thank Dr. N.R. Chandregowda, Dean Studies Centers, for his presence. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Nataraju, Organizing Secretary, and the Organizing Committee for their tireless efforts in making this conference a success. I also thank members of the Board of Management, faculty members, non-teaching staff of KSOU, special invitees for your presence and cooperation. I also thank our participants, delegates, and students. Your presence adds immense value to this academic gathering, and we look forward to your active engagement throughout the sessions. I thank media persons, cameramen, videographers for wide coverage of this significant event. Finally, a warm thanks to all the technical, administrative, and support staff who have worked behind the scenes to ensure the smooth conduct of this event. Once again, thank you all for your gracious presence and support. We wish the conference a great success and fruitful deliberations over the next 2 days. Thank you, one and all.